Hey, I'm Markley. It's Low Profile, and this is the second installment of Scherler Sundays 2023, recorded in front of a live audience behind the Carnegie Library in Olympia, Washington. On today's show, Jason Traeger of the Traegermethod podcast is filling in for me as host and presenting performances and conversations with the Olympia artist Doctor Sleep and Tacoma rapper Ralph Rain. Interestingly enough, both of these guys incorporate a Nintendo Game Boy into their distinctly different sounds. This episode is being cross-released on both Low Profile and Traegermethod via the podcast universe. If you like one show, you'll probably like the other, and there's a lot of episodes to dig into. And if you live in the Pacific Northwest, you should know that Scherler Sundays concerts are continuing through August 13th in downtown Olympia every Sunday at 3 p.m. Hope to see you there. I'm going to hand it over to Jason now, starting with music by Doctor Sleep.
I'm coming down to the disco. I never looked so good. Everyone wants me. I wanna ride on a white horse. Why don't you love me? I don't love anyone. I'll tell you anything. Be my best friend. I wanna ride on your white horse. I want to ride on a white horse. Now I know everything that you're thinking, and we both know we could do anything. I wanna ride on your white horse. I want to ride on a white horse. Lend me a whole new world of life. Feels like all night. When is there ever sense to love in this world? Whoa, I'm coming down. I'm on a mission. Everyone wants me. I never looked so good. I wanna ride on a white horse. I want to ride on a white horse. Don't ask me questions if you wanna know what I'm all about, 'cause I'll tell you. I wanna ride on a white horse. I want to ride on a white horse. I wanna ride on a white horse. I want to ride on a white horse. Paint me a picture, colored in bubble gum. Fill it with red balloons. That's kinda what it's like. I wanna ride on a white horse. Lend me a whole new world of life. Feels like all night. When is there ever sense to love in this world? Whoa, When is there ever sense to love in this world? Whoa, Thank you. Now I'm taking all my love, I'll put it in a whatever happened to trust? 'Cause now we all have guns, and everything is loaded and pointed back at us. And this time you can be the judge, but the jury is hung, and the executioner is nowhere to be found. I used to think I was tough until I had enough, and when you got the best of me, I didn't have much left. So if you think you're one of us, then we can all have lunch, and we can all wear pink, 'cause it's the color of blood. My feet are planted on earth, my head is full of fire, my words are carried on wind, rushing over the water. And if I ever find a reason, I'll keep it to myself, so no one ever finds out why I'm still so sad. And it's gonna take a lot of heart. Okay, thank you. Pernicious expulsion, exclamation of billowing greed, a dark insidious need when a nation's occupation translates to obliteration. The seal of history, a gurgle and a choke become a scream. A white nightmare becomes a dream. Summoning what lays beneath your feet. A siphon upon a bow, upon the brow of an armada. Raining fire upon you, a tank upon a rail, upon your town, hurtling around. Filled with fiery doubt, a hurl and a stroke become a scream. The white nightmare becomes a dream. Summoning what lays beneath your feet. Liquid death. Particularity, falling out brutality, gurgle and a choke become a scream. White nightmare becomes a dream. Summoning what lays beneath your feet. Liquid death.
Thank you.
Fire back and run holes, do not intertangle. What do you do when you're a square that thinks it's a triangle? Maybe you'll change your shape. Maybe you're just confused. Maybe you can escape to a place where no one is refused. Right? Looking down between my legs, what do I see? A jumble of shapes with eyes is staring back at me. Maybe it's much too big. Maybe it's very small. Maybe it needs a wig. Maybe I wish there's nothing there at all. Take it away. Bend is down as loud as tapers to a square. Above it is a mound that's crowned by cubic hair. View this cube as marvelous.
Hi there. You look good. Watch it.
Thanks so much.
The world's on fire, 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 the world's on fire. The world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire. That's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it. The world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire. That's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it. Motherfucker! That's the way I like it. Yeah! Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks. The world's on fire. 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 That's the way I like it. 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 The world's on fire. The world's on fire. The world's on fire. The world's on fire. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. Motherfucker! That's the way I like it. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks. The world's on fire. 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 That's the way I like it. 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 The world's on fire. The world's on fire. The world's on fire. The world's on fire. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. Yeah! The world's on fire. I feel like shit. I feel like shit. on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire. That's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it. The world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire, the world's on fire. That's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it, that's the way I like it. The world's on fire, 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 the world's on fire.
Thanks for coming out. Stick around.
Let's give a big round of applause for Doctor Sleep, a.k.a. Max. Isn't that wonderful? And give yourselves a round of applause for coming out here on this beautiful afternoon. Thank you. This is Scherler Sundays with Markley Morrison. Now, you might know who Markley Morrison is. You might know that I'm not him. Now, I hope you can deal with that. I have to deal with the fact that I'm not Markley Morrison every day of my life. So if you can handle one afternoon of it, it'll probably be cool. Yeah, and I am Jason Traeger. Like I said, I have a podcast that Markley asked me to do this because I'm a fellow podcaster. The Traegermethod podcast is the name of my podcast. Has a lot of Olympia music history in it, a lot of West Coast punk indie history. I myself used to be stationed here in Olympia in the punk wars many years ago. So you'll see a lot of Olympia luminaries.
Thank you for
on
your
my
service.
Podcast. Excuse me. Yeah, you're welcome. It was hell. Yeah. So are you from Olympia? Is this where you're actually based?
So the short answer is no. I'm from Seattle originally.
Me too.
And yeah, I've been in Olympia mostly since 2009.
What brought you here?
I came here, I was already playing music down here, and I'd actually been commuting down here from Seattle for practice. And then I had the good fortune of going on unemployment, and I quickly realized that I'd rather be on unemployment in Olympia than in Seattle. 2009.
Goes a little further.
It was a good year for that.
What band were you playing with when you were coming down here?
I was playing in a band called Funerot. Yeah,
got
any
some bands.
Funerot fans out there?
What kind of band was that?
That's a thrash metal band.
Okay, we hear a little thrash metal or a little metal at least in your
There's
work
some metal.
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's
What
definitely, yeah.
I was listening and thinking, first half I hear David Gahan, I hear Depeche Mode. Second half of the set I hear Kronos from Venom. I'm an 80s guy, so those are my references.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty close, I think. Yeah.
What music first got you wanting to play music that you were listening to?
I don't know. I mean, playing music is always I started playing music in like 4th or 5th grade in school, and then
Recorder?
I think maybe at some point, but mainly trumpet, like through high school. I don't do that anymore. But and my parents play music, so it's always just been I guess it's something I didn't really think about a whole lot. But I think when I was in high school, I kind of got into metal, and that kind of got me more into wanting to play in a band.
What kind of metal were you into in high school?
Like more like the embarrassing kind.
Hair?
No.
You're
That's
probably
actually
too
kind of
young
cool.
for that.
No. Like I think I was like listening to like brutal death metal and stuff. Which a little bit of that's still okay, and a lot of it's embarrassing, but it's fine. If you like that, that's totally okay.
It's okay to like brutal death metal, folks.
Yeah. And it's also okay to like, synth pop music and want to blend them together.
Yeah,
sometimes.
it works.
Yeah.
I got to say it works, right? Does it work? What kind of synth pop are you, what first fascinated you with that genre?
I'm not really sure what it was. I think like the first synth pop record I really got into was Scritti Politti, Cupid and Psyche 85, which used to be like you could find it in like most dollar bins. It's like a very like plasticky sounding British synth pop record. And then I kind of got into like Human League and Heaven 17, and kind of just went from there, I guess. But like definitely British synth pop. Like in more recent years, I've kind of got more into like contemporary, like femme like vocal pop and things like that.
Who are some names that you'd recommend people check out if they like what you're doing?
For as far as, I mean, like the music I listen to isn't necessarily similar to my music.
Sure.
I like listening to, check out Erasure. If you like my music, listen to Erasure. And yeah, I mean that Scritti Politti record, Vince Neil, the big influence.
You're talking Motley Crue?
No, Vince. Wait, no, not Vince. Okay, I'm screwing up the names, but the first Depeche Mode record was written by. Can anyone spot me on this one? Yeah. Anyway, the first Depeche Mode record was written by the person who also did all the Erasure records.
Okay.
And Yazoo as well.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Wait, no, not Vince Neil. Anyway,
When you said Vince Neil, it's like
yeah,
there's very few people who
not-
claim him as a vocal inspiration.
But anyway, yeah, definitely that era of synth pop. Yeah.
Nice. I like that. When did you? What inspired you to do solo? I mean, you were in groups, you were in bands. Were you in other bands? Yeah. But then now you're doing just the solo. What inspired that? Was it COVID?
No, I've been doing this for like 12 years.
Solo music.
Yeah, this specific project.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, since around 2010, 2011, and I don't know what inspired me in particular. I think I just kind of started writing music that I wanted to be solo, and I kind of wanted it to be like an industrial kind of project, because originally it was actually, when I started, it was just bass and drum machine and just those two things. And it kind of branched out. And then the next thing I added after that was a Game Boy.
So how does the Game Boy how does that work as a musical instrument? I don't know anything about Game Boys.
Yeah.
Except that they're game.
Yeah, so you basically put a cartridge in it. I use a program called LSDJ, which is pretty popular, and it's not really a live instrument so much, but you can program very sophisticated things into it. And the way it works is my drum machine goes into this little box, and then this little box goes into the Game Boy, and that's how it knows when to play. But they're basically just time synchronized. So the clock is synchronized, but they have to be programmed like in parallel to kind of line up.
I see.
And yeah, I mean, I've always just used hardware. I've never really used a laptop or anything like that.
Well, I guess when people are using laptops, they're also doing things in the moment, right? Or is that?
Yeah,
I always get the feeling oftentimes that the laptop is like already there and you're just singing along to it. Whereas with this, there's a sense that obviously you're actively making music.
Actually, it's a little bit closer to just being pre-recorded, honestly. I am like mixing it live.
Well, what are you hitting when you're hitting on those last couple numbers that were the real sample heavy ones?
Oh, so that's a different thing. So those songs, that's all sample pads.
Okay.
And basically, so this is an MPC, which is a classic style of sampler.
What does MPC mean?
MPC stands for Music Production Center.
Okay.
And it's basically a piece of hardware that plays samples and sequences. So I actually also program songs on it. And it's actually like a classic hip hop instrument. So that was kind of really like, it's been around since the early 90s, maybe late 80s. And it was kind of pioneered by a lot of hip hop artists. And that's kind of basically the techniques that I'm using.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So when you started out with the bass and drum machine, were you familiar with like Olympia music, The Thrones, Joe Preston's work?
Oh yeah, actually that really should. Yeah, this wouldn't exist without that.
Without Joe?
Yeah, this would. I really should. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what inspired me to do this. To be honest, like to play solo music and play bass and drum machine was trying to copy Joe Preston.
I nailed it.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
good. I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about that.
Sorry. Yeah, Olympia's got a great history of distorted bass player, like Jared Warren, Carp, Vern Rumsey, of course. Rest in peace, Vern. The unwound Vern, that distorted bass. Joe being the distorted bass.
Yeah. Abby Ingram.
Who's Abby Ingram?
Oh, she's the bass player in Broken Water and has played in a few different other bands. Yeah.
Great for Abby. Right on.
Plays a distorted bass tone as well. But everyone really has their own distinctive styles. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I would be doing this without Thrones. It kind of started, I was really trying to emulate that and a lot, to be honest. And I built the pedal that he uses. I don't use it today, but...
What pedal is that? What is it?
That's a Univox Super Fuzz, which are really hard to come by, or at least it definitely were at that time. So it's cheaper to build one. Yeah.
So you must know something about electronics if you're building pedals?
Yeah, I built this.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
So what is this below? Is this a power amp, and then this is the
yeah?
flavor?
So this is a power amp where I just reused the chassis. Like everything inside of it was gutted, and it's all different electronics. And then this is a preamp that I built that hooks up. It's basically all like one unit.
What is a preamp in relation to a power amp?
Yeah. A preamp is just kind of like signal shaping and like volume and tone and distortion and stuff like that.
The power is just the punch.
Yeah, just the making the signal into powerful enough to drive the speaker.
Are you self-taught?
Yeah.
Did you learn from someone else how to do the electronics, or?
Yes and no. So I went to school for electrical engineering, specifically because I was interested in audio, and I taught myself to do audio electronics using that as a foundation. Because it's going to school for it, it's very broad, very generalized, and then it just takes many years to figure out how to do this kind of stuff. Like this took a long time to figure out.
How long did you work on this?
This particular one, I mean, it really took me probably 10 or 12 years to really be able to build a solid state power amp that worked and wouldn't always blow up. They still blow up a little bit, but I mean, this is a kind of project that would take, like, I would do over like maybe 4 or 5 months, but it's like a little bit it's like part-time.
I see.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to University of Washington in Seattle for engineering. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I moved to Olympia just right after college. I don't know. I just love the local music and like just have been going to shows and playing music that whole time, and that's kind of, I'd say, why I'm here.
That's awesome. We're glad you do that. What do you have coming up? What does the future hold for Dr. Sleep?
That's a really good question. This is like, I've always had a day job. I've kind of gotten to a point where I don't really feel very ambitious about like touring or like anything in particular. It's just like nice to be able to play like local shows for friends and like have a nice time, and that's kind of the best thing. So I'm not really sure. I think I would like to record some music I've written and not recorded yet at some point.
What's the best portal for people? What's your preferred place for people to look for your work online?
The SoundCloud is where I post the most stuff. It's like it's a garbage platform, but aren't they all? And but it's fine, It's good for demo things.
Why do you say it's a garbage platform? Just curious.
Probably the ads. I'm honestly just not really a big fan of music and computers.
You're a strong anti-capitalist. I like it.
Yeah. I've just kind of, yeah, but also it's just, is it really worth the effort? I've kind of decided it isn't most of the time.
Well, if you don't like music that people are, if you don't like a computer as the venue for people to hear your recorded music, and you don't want to make hard copies, you are in a kind of bind.
So I have in the past, I made a tape, which is like, good luck getting one of those, like, no way. And I like music. I like playing music. I like being involved in music. I don't like selling things or like marketing or like promoting things. It's just like, I just don't want to do it.
No, I'm with you.
And I've discovered that I don't have to.
Yeah, you're playing here
no,
today.
you just don't have to do it.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for that. You don't have to market yourself or sell yourself.
Yeah, you can just make it just to do it, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's how music was made for, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Just people going from town to town or staying in one town and playing music for their community.
Before it got all screwed up, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. Let's have another round of applause for Max, Dr. Sleep. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. Yes, have a great time. Okay, we're going to take a moment, and then I will be talking to Ralph Rain before his set. So we're going to break this set down, switch over, and we'll talk again. Thank you. Are we rolling? All right, cool.
Wake up in the morning, yawning. Cops watching, wait to kick the door in. Cause I know I got them dope pins and it don't end. So my enemies got no friends. Yeah, it don't end. I wake up in the morning, yawning. Cops watching, wait to kick the door in. Cause I know I got them dope pins and it don't end. So my enemies got no friends. Yeah, it don't end. You come to my hood and tell me how to live, I think I'm good. That's not how it is, not how it works. So I was at work on my craft like I'm leaving the earth, like breathing the earth, getting deep in the dirt. Not for reason I search, that's for the birds, like the seeds and the turfs. You see, yeah. At first, you're the only thing I need on this earth, and well, you're the only reason I hurt. At first, you're the only thing I need on this earth, and well, you're the only reason I hurt. Maybe that's just how I twist. But I know you got a hit list of misters who dishes, and now I can have your big list. Just when I love you for real though, but when you come to work, you wear your steel toes, so you can't feel no access to your still so. And so I gotta pay the bills though, get fed, but he got the meal slow. Girl, yeah, love is all I'm really here for. Wake up in the morning, yawning. Cops watching, wait to kick the door in. Cause I know I got them dope pins and it don't end. So my enemies got no friends. Yeah, it don't end. I wake up in the morning, yawning. Cops watching, wait to kick the door in. Cause I know I got them dope pins and it don't end. So my enemies got no friends. Yeah, it don't end. See, me, I always been a finger to you to the... Don't compute in my brain, I don't just shoot, I don't care for them, my aim, and I'll be shooting to you. Cat for the same, on the same tree like some bears, I'm just saying, we all have prayers for the same. Already there is a plane, top you good ticket, have you a visit to where bliss is at first. You're the only thing I need on this earth, and well, you're the only reason I hurt at first. You're the only thing I need on this earth, and well, you're the only reason I hurt is from rain. Got enough for control, well, not enough for my soul. They try and make you forget, but for my goal, my vision won't slip. I really had enough for control, well, not enough for my soul. They try and make you forget, but for my goal, my vision won't slip. You telling me I can't love, I can't live. I'm telling you I ain't a thug, I'm just a kid from Harlem scene. People do things they probably wish they never did, but I ain't trying to look hard. Life's hard enough as we make it. So tell me you gon' make it or take it. Problems, dog, we can solve them often as clouds bring shade in the way of the sun. That's why the beaches go banging. I run with one fist to pass, we're headed to sun. Competitors to number one, but I've been past making my own sick tracks instead of the fixed path. Used to run 6 laps around my dream. Ever seems I found my purpose. Unlike appendix, unlike a French kiss, I've been working on my own. They got me sold, well they say I need to be old. And dreams I should leave those. Well I'm calling on my feet cold, so I test the sheet with words. I speak with words. Used to tell myself I can't do till I found music. It turns out people really like the way I did as gold. And tell them a new say nothing scary for my soul and fear. That's something you can bury with my bones. Yeah. I really had enough of control. Not enough
enough for my soul. They try to make you forget, but from my goal, my vision won't slip. Laundry, mat on the corner, little mama with that rock, she's a goner. Probably just trip and think the cops is always on her. Like some fleas to a dog, she really the beat to my song. You see, she need love like each of us on Molly. But fat dog can never reach her body. In fact, the body eat her body. She just wanna reach her mommy. In a crack fight felt every other time and say this is the last flight. Learn nothing from her past sights. What a sad fight, a sad sight. But I keep walking, make sure my path's right. But it always is, I swear I choose the shit that I'm stepping in. Do I or do I not have the choice to step again? Let the ground move or should I step again? How to read the messages, how to be the best addict. Need to be the best addict, I'm at it. Like a dog in a race for the rabbit, I will grab it. Way more than a habit, gotta have it, can't you see it? I will be it, by any means achieve my many dreams. It'd be like centipedes with perfect timing, perfect for rhyming. It's a tongue on my mouth, wake up and grab my rungs and I'm out. No spout, knows of such flows, so much told. But who or what knows what truth is? Good thing I got the boot. Otherwise, would I lose it with some other eyes? Man, could I do this? Make pyramids with minds and you telling me we can't move bricks, dog. We can do this, a new shift, so I'm hoping for the new hits. Making music, a couple new hits, dog. But no bruises, no bruise, kid. Brain already uses what I view as tools to misconstruction. Said you really had enough for good control, and not enough for my soul. They try to make you forget, but from my goal, my vision won't slip. It was no studio, I was screaming on my couch, just trying to have the mouse looking for my page on MySpace, Twitter, YouTube, and YouTube can dream as I do. If you find yourself, if you climb the shelf, that mama said get down. Just wanted to see if the top shelf had dust like the ground floor. What I gotta touch the ground for? What's that? Can't I just stay up forever? Maybe you should torture pound, or just accept the water was dripping in my pockets. If you think that I would drown, or what are my people with knowledge from pockets where I carry around? So sick of singing minds that just get carried around. I had enough of control, and not enough for my soul. They try to make me forget, but from my vision won't slip. Not in my soul. They try to make you forget, but from gold, my won't slip. Yeah. I'm not up here playing a Game Boy. Shout out to Doctor Sleep. But I have a couple tricks. That was pretty dope. I'm like, are you gonna be like playing that thing or like playing that thing? I'm like, what's going on here? But hey. Once again, y'all, you're welcome to come up here and shed some energy, shed some weight if you wanna. We're deep in my soul. Paid the deepest of tolls. So my thoughts will be shown, the deepest of me, deepest of free. Boy, it never gets old. Talking to soul, or talking to soul, or talking to shows of what they have seen and what it does mean to me in this wonderful dream. You see a couple of things, then you D.I.E. Go with the breeze, just like the bees when the earth is freeze. Only they come in the spring. What a wonderful thing. My thumb covers the spring, clicks it. Then that instant there, it is vivid in my vision. Soul feels scrolls, directions to my hands are given to me. Yeah. Really, I guess I just know how to listen to beats through these ears that hear through trees. And might goes away, but used to make me cry. But I just might go today. They say that's all that's promised, like vomit after riding comets. See them when my body sleeps, but my mind is conscious. An option I pick as my optic watches lose touch of well, just how far the notch is. Well, tell me just how you watch this life that is. From my lens, I see the light you is. Inside of you is the sight of killing and bury your eyes. Reminding you of skies, the dreamer inside. To whom I write with pen. You sing on some nights, my pen refuses to write. Little demon inside, standing in view of my light. And I wonder at times, am I viewing it right? Leading the strife, usually leading my night. Seeing the demon of fright, but seeing the being of light. When deep in my soul, paid the deepest of tolls. So my thoughts will be shown, the deepest of me, deepest of free. Boy, it never gets old, talking to soul. Yes, it is so true that I've dreamt of you so much lately. You lately. And if dreams come true, yeah, if they come true, you take me. Take me. Take me. Take me far away. Take me far away, And I'm often lost in dreams, an awful lot it seems to this unravel. I'm on the moon, a sun, a shadow screens from where my attached to body like tattoo, permanent, impermanent, sharp hits, through for death. Further than needle clear to land and no stress. Plan that I landed on's vex, no text stretch, a red gas upon request. For a better plan than in which I've yet to greet a step on. At times on my list of dreads long as west. Oh yes, blue sets on peace, I rest chest or case. As the words cease to flow from face, I just hope for me in your heart that where there's an open space. Yes, it is so true that I've dreamt of you so much lately. You lately. And if dreams come true, which they do, yeah, if they come true, you take me. Take me. Take me. Take me far away. Away. Take me. Take me far away. And yes, the she and me, a we, and I see the we as free to be, simply like tree, a bee, a knee, as I lay and see dreams. How we get deep like flow from stream to sea, a dream to see with the eyes of soul, rippling the sea and me as I unfold. Nowhere without my love I be, for she be the nectar as I'm beneath stars. Wish longer were the arms of ours. And yes, it is so true that I've dreamt of you so much lately. You lately. And if dreams come true, which they do, yeah, if they come true, you take me. Take me. Take me. Take me far away. Away. Take me. Take me far away. Away. I saw you singing for a second. You come up here for the next song? No, you good? All right. Thank you. This is my last song, so if you like had that little voice in the back of your head that's like, come on man, let's get up and dance. Come on, let's get it. Come on man. It's time to listen to it because he's gonna be like, I told we should did it, and that would have been that. So, but hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for vibing with me, vibing with us. Shout out to Doctor Sleep. I'll tell you that I'm looking to find, yeah, a peace of mind. Seen at times, but maybe I could be blind. I'll tell you that I'm looking to find the heights to reach that sky. You know I'll be there before I die. Running and moving, I can see that my motion is making me sweat and search for such potion. I'm open thoughts, I'm quoting open doors. For sure, for frequently, he be the feediest section. For the sweetest next search for all the mind and hexes. All that I find, even me blind, believing me, I'm the same one nigga hold exotic over those hope provide a way for shoulder shine on there. My fears are magnified and cold beside of my peer. Though it appears a cold world would die, but I'm going inside it, scope and die, indeed that be third. Leaving the birds, seeming like worm, nothing steeper than the sleep where I perch. Demons leaving to see the reverse. Time it seems they won't recline until they see we leave earth. See why I search the reason the earth, deepest of earth. Relics tell us there's no reason to curse. Still at times I wonder why I be on the earth. Take a seat, steam on the perp. Get high, I wonder why. Cause I'm looking to find the peace of mind I've seen at times, but maybe I could be blind. I tell you that I'm looking to find the heights to reach that sky. You know I'll be there before I die. I wonder why. Shout out to Scorpion on this. I wonder why. Finally, it seems like I've arrived to the party, and hardly do I ever have to strive to be godly. And oddly, it seems to just come to me naturally, like apathy after the ashes flee. From the blunt that I roll, you know me, get all I had, enough for control. Really wanna hide in trunks, but just with that Corona was gone. I don't contradict every one of my previous nerves. By the way, the weed I just smoke, I'm like EG3 means we be eating the phone. Of a new home to roam, I suppose. My clothes are fitting, though they're ripping from my soul. Who this road? I told the shoulder, gonna meet the sacred land. Place for feet, I watch the falling sand. To the glass in which my eye will learn to look through. And as I laugh, my class will last us on the push through. Many eyes and so my soul has looked through. So many old books I've looked through. Just to say that ego shook you, look you to find. And I'm really here just to tell you that I'm looking to find the peace of mind seen at times, but maybe I could be blind. I tell you that I'm looking to find the heights to reach that sky. You know I'll be dead before I die.
Check 2, 1, 2. Let's keep it going for Ralph Rain. Let him hear it. It's beautiful. Thank you, Ralph, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us and myself.
So happy to. It's perfect vibe for a breezy Sunday afternoon. I gotta say.
You know, yeah, hearing the seagulls sometimes.
Yeah, the crows flying by is beautiful. When did you start making music?
Making music in this fashion, started making hip hop when I was in Philadelphia. I was probably about 19 or 20, so like 10 or 11 years ago.
Is Philadelphia where you're from?
I'm from New York City originally, but I'm from Harlem, New York City, and it's a long story. But after high school, I lived in Philadelphia for a couple years.
You said you started making this kind of music. What had you been making music before?
Never recording anything, but ever since I was probably, I don't know, 4th or 5th grade, I've had different classes in school, and I took piano lessons for about 4 years, and always loved music. I've always been a musical scholar. I feel like sometimes life is like a video game. You know, you're picking up all these tools here and there. You don't quite realize why you need it, and then you get to the final boss, and you're like, okay, this all makes sense, kind of deal. So I had no idea or identity as a musician for a very long time after all that. So
what kind of music was playing in the houses you grew up in?
When I was young, I remember I have some memories growing up listening to, I lived in Spanish Harlem, and I'm half Puerto Rican. My dad's side is Puerto Rican and my mom's side is black or African American, really just African and Jamaican. I don't know. What is American? In a way.
Good question.
Everyone's from somewhere else. We've been here for how long doing whatever, and compared to cultures that have been alive and doing things for thousands and thousands of years. So anyway, grew up going to a lot of like, Hispanic parties, and they're playing merengue and bachata and all types of like Spanish music. And I was just trying to sleep, and they didn't have a babysitter. So I learned how to sleep, in very loud environments. And then when I was older, my dad, listened to a lot of, dad rock, if you will, classic American dad stuff, Led Zeppelin, something Butterfly, all these groups, Steppenwolf, all these things, and then also a lot of soul and funk. Put me on to Earth, Wind and Fire. The first proper concert I went to was the Allman Brothers Band with my dad
in New York.
Yeah, New York City.
That's an awesome show.
I didn't even know. People were trying to hand me weed and shit, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm kind of here with my dad.
What year would that have been?
This is a hard question. I was probably like 9, probably like 20, 21 years ago. So
Nice.
Yeah, like 2002, 2000, early
So
2000s.
you're in a rich musical environment.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like people, that was the first show properly. But growing up in New York City, you walk into the train. There's people breakdancing. There's people playing all types of music from all over the world. There's a little Michael Jackson impersonators with their boombox dancing. It's like and coming through the train cars, dancing to music, singing. I have a new EP I'm releasing. Let me sing you a song. And you're like, well, I don't really have a choice. So while I'm here, go ahead. So there was always music everywhere outside the music shops too. When I lived in Spanish Harlem, people playing drums and jamming and stuff like that. So there's constant exposure to all, a lot of different cultures and music.
And you said you started playing piano. What kind of piano music were you listening to? Were you listening to jazz?
No, I wish it was, I had a teacher of mine who was a friend of the family, and she was a classically trained, playing classic, Mozart, Beethoven, all that kind of stuff. And so I was really inspired by her playing. I started trying it and practicing it, and I'm like, doing basic stuff. And at that point, like I said, I had no identity as a musician. There was no real drive to like, all right, I'm going to stick to this. And I was really young at that point. So I tried for a while, just trying to, reading sheet music and playing whatever she was giving me to play. So I didn't really love it at that point. I definitely stopped. But now as a producer, like I rap, sing, and produce most of my own music. I'm definitely super grateful I had that background. The rhythmic background, like from school playing drums, is massive. And then the tonal background from playing piano, especially as a hip hop artist, and figuring out how to approach beats and with flows, but then also with cadence and with key and pitch and all that, not just like rapping over a beat, the same kind of flow, the same pitch every time.
Melody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. When do you feel like that toolbox that you were organically assembling, when do you feel like it started to gel into a vision that you're like what you're sharing today?
Oh man, it was probably like 2013 or so. I made my first mixtape. It kind of happened randomly. Like I got in trouble in school. I got in trouble when I was in 8th grade and kind of in a way got sent to the West Coast and was on probation. And they sent me like, don't smoke weed, but we're going to send you to the island that's been growing some of the best weed in the world since the 70s. And everyone's smoking it. So eventually I ended up smoking weed again, blah, blah, blah. So like, long story shorter, it wasn't until I met some people on my who lived on my block who were connected with someone else I was on a rowing team with on the Schuylkill River in Philadelphia or Pennsylvania. Yeah, it was in Philadelphia technically. And we got together and blah, blah, blah. And they were short one person rapping. So I started rapping then. And then I realized like at least my poetic, that side, because I've always written poetry and stuff and like doing that. I was like, all right, I'm really good at this, but it took me a while to actually catch up rhythmically to be able to like make it sound the way I could hear it in my head. I never really performed vocally in that way. But the whole tool bag kind of came into play when I was like, finding a bunch of beats online and making my own music. And I was like, kind of tired of doing that. I want to release stuff and not be limited to the copyrights and all that stuff, not having money to pay. I was like, I want to make my own sound. And so I think my mom and my brother pitched in and got me a machine by Native Instruments. It's just like kind of like an MPC beat making deal. And then I got high. Like the first time I made my own beat and started like rapping and singing to it, it was just feeling like none other. And it was that was the moment really when I was like, whoa, like, unbeknownst to me or whatever, like I had been preparing for this, almost my whole life. And then it just went from there. I just kept producing stuff and experimenting and all that. And it took definitely a few years to the point where I was able to like make beats that I felt were worthy enough to release into the world. Because I was, like I said, inspired by Jay Dilla and Alchemist and like so many other top-notch producers. So I was like, had a really good taste in beats. And then for me to actually be able to get to that point and then figure out what inspired me to actually rap and sing to also took a long time. So yeah. But that moment probably was like the first beat I made, and I was like, felt drawn to like make a song with it,
So you mentioned some of the producers that inspired you. What about MCs?
Definitely Nas. If there's a top three, it's definitely like Nas, Andre 3000. I really like Biggie Smalls. It's kind of Nas and Andre, and then there's a whole bunch that are sitting at the same table, but they're at like the two heads for sure.
They're East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from New York City. And I won't go there right now, but yes, I'm definitely a Beast Coast, if you will, aficionado. There's some West Coast rappers I like, but being from New York, you definitely kind of have to choose in a way, and it kind of stays on you. You're like, yeah, we're definitely, make the best hip hop. I don't know. It is what it is. There's
Where
different
it's from.
styles. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it is it is definitely from New York City, and from a lot of other places. A lot of like it was like the volcano erupted there.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned your Jamaican roots. You have some of that too. I mean, it's Jamaica to New York is what I think of it as, and then from there to the world.
And especially like sound system culture, which is very much whatever the word is, very much so the same thing, intermingle, intertwine is that sort of deal. And the same thing in Jamaica, like with sound system culture. I'm a sound system culture enthusiast who has a custom sound system, and I love doing that. And I love that because, like, especially for African Americans, Latinos, just other people in New York City at that time, it's like, how do we have a culture? We don't feel like we don't resonate with being American. We don't resonate with like going to the clubs. We want to make our own style, our own culture. And so that's how it was powerful. Like these bringing speakers out in the streets, and we're going to do a show how we want to. It doesn't matter who owns the venue or whatever. We're going to do what we want to do, how we want to do it, when we want to do it. And so that's huge for me, for sure.
Yeah, plug into the street lights, right? I mean, in the old days.
Whatever you do. Everyone had their skills. People were cracking open the fire hydrant so the kids could not die.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So when you build the music for like the songs we heard today, this afternoon, what's the process of making that music?
Really, I mean, even to this day, when I'm making beats or songs, it's probably like 3 out of every 10 beats that I make. If I'm lucky, sometimes it's like 5 out of every 10 beats I make. I'm actually like, I want to make this into a song. So really, it's all happy accidents. The classically trained thing didn't really work for me. It's all like, I'm just going to mess around. I usually start with some drums, and I play most of my stuff in and, make a drum loop or some kind of rhythmic thing. And then I'll jam out other stuff. And I have most of my like, I'll be in like maybe a 16 bar loop, and I'll have all that stuff overlapping and then make like really dense kind of like vibing full beat. And then from there, I'll stretch stuff out. That's the cool thing about a computer. Then I can like, all right, I'm going to have, yeah, computers are cool sometimes.
Part of life, a little bit. You must have a few external hard drives full of.
Yeah, I have one right there. That's number 2 of like 4.
Yeah. Then words and lyrics, and melodies, whatnot.
It really depends. Like sometimes I'll just start making just the bare bones of a beat, and I'm like, I gotta stop and record this. I have like a chorus that comes to me randomly. Sometimes I'll even like scat, and just kind of like have the flow and kind of the melody and everything are in there, but then I'll assign words to it later, and like kind of feels like a sketch, a vocal sketch that I'm just like, whoa, I know it's like, being pulled out of me in a way. And then I'll go back and actually write all the lyrics and record it and mix everything, including the vocals and all that.
Wonderful. Well, we're so glad you make that music because it's awesome to behold.
Hey, thank you.
I know
so
you
much.
got to get back to Vashon. So I saw you looking at
I keep looking at my watch.
So he's got to make the last ferry back to Vashon. So let's send Ralph off with a big round of applause. Thank you so much, Ralph, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know.
And thank you all for coming out, supporting Scherler Sundays. Have a good evening. I've been Jason Traeger. Thank you.
You've been listening to the merging of Low Profile with Markling Morrison and the Traegermethod podcast. Thanks to Jason Traeger for filling in for me this time around. You can find his excellent music-themed podcast, Traegermethod, wherever you listen. This season of Low Profile was recorded live at Scherler Sundays in downtown Olympia during the summer of 2023. Next time on Low Profile, we'll be joined by the Purple Shadows, and Heat Warmer returns to the show with performances from their newest record, It's a Nightmare. You can find all previous episodes of this program at lowprofilepodcast.com. Take care till next time. See ya.